Uh,
How's it going, everyone, and welcome to a very slow episode of No Excuses, despite it being quote-unquote E3 week on YouTube.com with your favorite show hosts, Aristill.
Venurian.
And Vorzel, who is currently just a big old sack of disease and suffering right now. And we're here to
Hooray!
bring you the latest news and commentary on the video games industry for the week, or rather, what the video games industry did in a sort of zombie pantomime of the E3 season of yore.
Yeah! It's kind of sad, really.
But first of all, if you'd like to get involved with the show, you can do so by sending us email at noexcusesvtw@gmail.com, or you can follow us on the Twitter at noexcusesvtw, or you can join us in Discord, and you can get there by clicking on the link that should be provided under the the video archive on YouTube in the show comments.
Yes, yes. Alright,
So
so...
I am choking on my own body parts at the moment, so it's hard for me to speak at a stretch.
Yes. I mean, I know that E3 makes us physically ill half the year, but this time you've taken it a bit too literally.
Yeah. It's been a rough week for me.
Yeah. So, while we go through the disaster... I mean... No, actually, calling it a disaster is not even good enough, because that implies it's interesting, at least. The wet blanket that was the a couple of these presses. Yeah. We're going to be playing a bit of Final Fantasy. Just going to go and grind some Rathalos. Once I finish dancing on the roof like a civilized person.
Yep. I just need people here to push the button a few times.
Yeah, pretty much. You can't quite solo him, but... Yeah.
If I had a proper ranged DPS class, I could probably almost certainly solo him, but...
Yeah, I tried, and I just couldn't quite get him down before I ran out of potions. I got him to about 95% on the down gauge.
But yeah, it's just a little bit too much for my little dancer.
Also, I should pay attention to what I'm actually doing, but I'm not going to. So, yeah, E3 this year didn't actually happen as it normally did. E3 itself was cancelled for, I suppose, lack of interest.
They're going to blame the coof.
Oh, pretty sure they did blame the coof. But, yeah, it's just lack of content, honestly. So we had Jeff Keighley step up and make the Dorito Pope Variety Hour. Variety 3 hours. And yeah, it was about as underwhelming as you might expect.
Yeah, so, we're going to either abridge or cut the weeks entirely this week to get through the Dorito Pope and the Sony thing. But
yep.
there just ain't much there.
That's about all, honestly, I could handle. I watched those two. The Bethesda one isn't out yet, and Nintendo is maybe doing one?
We got a trailer at the Dorito Pope thing for the stuff that will likely be in that one.
Yes. Assuming they don't unveil Breath of the Wild 2, which is what everyone seems to be implying.
Yeah, but people have been implying that forever.
Yeah, but this time they got art, so... Not that that's exactly hard to fake. But it's entirely possible that Nintendo might just say, no, we couldn't be bothered this year either.
So yeah, the summertime release season that comes around the time swimsuits appear in gacha games is here.
Yeah. So, I don't have anything particularly for my week. I did play a bit of V Rising, but I can talk about that next week. I will say, though, if you're looking for an ARPG, you're going to be sorely disappointed.
I almost was going to come on this show and give you a story about how Pyros isn't as bad as Pogos, and Pogos is just exceptionally bad. And then Pyros happened, and we realized, oh dear, no. We're not almost done. We need 300 more crystals, and these monsters drop 1/3 as much as all the other ones.
Yes. I hope you like grind. Because you're going to get grind. Lots and lots of grind. Mind you, I started doing some of the other artifact weapons. I'm doing the Heavenswood one at the moment, which... The first phase to get it up to the glowy version I've got now isn't that bad. You do a bunch of fates, you get some crystals, and then you do 10 dungeon runs through some fairly easy dungeons. You can go solo them at this point. Ooh, Poogie. So that one didn't take too long. The next step, though, is a massive sync for Poetic Tomestones.
Hey, if you're doing Eureka at the same time, I'm here to tell you you're drowning in poetics and you don't know what to do with them all.
This is true. So now I found a place to dump them. There are other ways you can get the materials you need to upgrade to the second version, but why bother with those when you can just go with the Poetics? It's either that or run Alexandra over and over again. So yeah. Shall we dive straight into this abomination?
Which one do you want to start with?
Start with the Sony one, because that's the shorter one of the two. Key 3,
I don't-
which I'm only going to call it out of absolute scorn, is decidedly longer. But thankfully, neither presentation waffled for too long.
There was...
In some, I would like to say, I think I have been seldom as underwhelmed as I was by this particular presentation.
Yeah. It's just kind of going through the motions, really, it felt like. So, alright. I don't actually have any slides or anything to put up, so you can just watch us beat on Rathalos while we do this. So, first game on the Sony lineup. And this has actually been up for a couple of weeks, by the way, as of now. We're getting a remake for Resi 4, which I think was probably the highlight of their presentation. Whoops. It's Buffalo time. No!
Oh no. You get cooked by the booth.
I'm fine. I meant to do that.
Sure you did.
Totally meant to do that. I had it
Totally
completely under
believe you.
control.
I am not doubting you one bit.
So yeah, Resi 4 remake. It's been a long time coming. I think a lot of people have been asking for this one for a while.
Well, they haven't been asking for it so much as it's been one of those things that's assumed with Capcom doing the Resi 2 and 3 remake.
Yeah. It was coming. Did they skip 3?
No,
Okay.
we have 3.
They did 3. Problem is, though, is a lot of what happened, what made Resi 4 good, I'm not sure will fly in the current market.
A lot of it was new novel stuff for a third-person shooter at the time.
Yeah.
And that stuff just isn't new or novel anymore.
Them tank controls, yo.
Yeah, tank controls with frozen aiming, with that special way Leon aims down the sights, the way the missions are set up to protect Ashley, generally having a pretty okay story, especially for a Resi game. All that stuff is neat and novel, but it's also not new anymore.
Yes, has it aged? Like, they've given the whole game a brand new coat of paint, so it looks beautiful now. Well, as beautiful as a Resi game looks. But, yeah, I'm not sure how much of the original gameplay they're going to be able to keep. I will, however, fully support more opportunities to put Ashley in a bin.
I hope you can still dump Ashley in the dumpster.
Yeah, where she belongs. Poogie!
Everybody has Poogie.
Everyone has Poogies. So yeah, that one's coming out 24th May next year. So it's going to be away, but that's the way these things usually go. They'll announce them a year out.
Tell me I wasn't the only one who just saw that they were doing yet another remake and just groaned.
Yeah.
Like, cause I know that they're going to go through all of them and make them one by one, but I don't have enough faith in them to assume that they're going to be anything like the RE2 remake quality when they demonstrated with the RE3 remake that they don't really give a toss.
Yeah. If they can do this remake properly, I think they're on to a winner. People will go for it because people love Resi 4.
But I don't know if Resi 4 is as special to people as RE2 was.
Yeah, RE2 also had a lot of love put into it as a project itself. It's clear the developers cared a lot about it. Resi 3, not so much.
Not so much. But Resi 4 has that thick, juicy vein of camp running through it, which people love. I hope they can preserve that, actually. If anything they keep, that has to stay in it. Alright, next, they burrowed along with their V2 VR stuff.
Yeah, none of that jumped out to me. I'm the only one that would care about VR.
So they announced that Resi 4 will be VR compatible, as well as Resi Village, Walking Dead Retribution, which I've just completely glazed over. Yep, and of course No Man's Sky, which is already on PlayStation VR, so Oh, no! I meant to do that. This is why you don't multitask.
Also, you cart in this fight, so if you die, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. So, yeah. Do people still care about The Walking Dead?
Burn your health.
Yeah,
Well, I
I'm
never
working on
did to
it.
begin with.
Yeah, it's zombies. It's zombies filled in Ari's backyard. That's The Walking Dead.
I'm here to tell you, my backyard's big and it's nice. It ain't particularly interesting, though.
No,
There's,
not really.
there's some squirrels, there's a few hawks back there, there's deers there every night.
No zombies, though.
And opossums.
And, opossums, they generally are playing possum in the woods because they got scared by something, so their system literally shut down.
Don't they scream as well?
Yeah. They have kind of a hissy scream.
Yeah.
It sounds like... It sounds awful.
Possums are just generally horrible creatures.
Yeah, and the zombies are just kind of no big deal. We have enough guns, we just kind of shoot them when they show up. I don't know why Walking Dead makes such a big deal about them.
Yeah. From a little bit of Walking Dead I kind of did see, it's like the zombies are just kind of there. They're not really a big deal. It's more people trying to just be dicks to each other.
Yeah, I got more enjoyment from that show seeing all the locations they filmed that I know at.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I know where that is.
That's the
I was
prison
just
down
there
the road.
yesterday. Yeah, that's the rock quarry by the prison down the road.
Not even Stone Mountain.
It's kind of the same feeling I got watching that season of Survivor they filmed here. And knowing that, yes, in fact, they did just try and pass off somebody walking 50 kilometers in 30 seconds. Yeah, I know where their film site was, and I know where their special elimination camp was. Those places are 60 kilometers apart.
You got them to see them manufacture the lie in real time.
Oh, yes. You get a new appreciation for just how terrible reality TV shows are when you can see the lie. Anyway.
I wish they would just put the prisoners back in that rock quarry, get them back to busting rocks like they used to. Ever since they gave over filming rights, there's film crews here all the time, and it drives me nuts.
Yeah, that sounds right. I'm honestly surprised we haven't started hitting that same thing here for, generic Outback situation. Anyway, next game they talk about was Horizon Call of the Mountain. It's Horizon, except it doesn't have Aloy in it, which makes it immediately better. Beyond that, though, it just looked like VR first-person parkour, and parkour in first-person never works.
It gives you vertigo.
It does.
Is what it does.
Mirror's Edge kinda did it. Kinda. But, yeah. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, if you're in first-person in VR, you're fighting motion sickness if you can adapt to it, and not everybody can. I was able to eventually, but it took a long time.
Yeah.
And
that's a big thing, actually, with this game, is it looks like it is going to be motion sickness inducing, because there's a lot of very fast movement.
And furthermore, when you're in VR in first person and you see a cliff face in front of you, your brain doesn't care that it's not real. Your brain will know it's not real, and it will tell you, uh-oh, you're about to fall, and it gives you constant vertigo.
Yes. And just given the whole vertical nature of this game, I hope you don't have a fear of heights. I mean, it's pretty, it's fine, but the problem is all this footage they show is notched through the VR goggles, as you might expect. So, of course, it looks pretty.
A game like this lives and dies on its accessibility features.
Yeah.
And it basically would have to have teleport movement in order to accommodate it.
Yeah.
Or snap camera turning.
Or, yeah, it'd have to have something. It'll probably end up with some sort of weird overlay on it.
Yeah, there's some early VR games try to get away with just like a field of view slider, effectively.
No.
And so that when you move, the camera will dramatically zoom out and your field of view changes.
And all that
That-
does is makes you nauseous.
All that does is make you not able to see. It does work. The problem is you can't see anything.
Yeah. Mind you, I did have a chance to play with the Oculus Quest 2 during my trip to Townsville. And at least the visual quality on the VR goggles is much better than it was in the early days. Much clearer. Still not great, and not perfect, because it does still feel like you've got a TV strapped to your eyeballs. But it's better.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
Quest 1 wasn't that bad. The Oculus, whatever the one I have plugged into my PC right now is pretty decent. Problem is, I'm not getting another Oculus.
No, because then they want to get your mother's maiden credit card number.
Well, they want me to sign up for Facebook, and they want me to give them a Facebook account, and I'm not doing that.
Uh-huh.
That's a deal breaker. Sorry. I was really into VR. I was liking it a lot. It was getting me a lot of exercise. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not signing up to Facebook and giving the Zuck bucks.
But my metaverse.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's hemorrhaging money. That is.
I was a hooked customer, Zuck. I was the person who, in everything but a political alignment, was most likely to jump on your metaverse thing, and I saw your name all over it, and before I even looked at what you had to offer, said, "Lol, no."
Why would
Well,
you?
but the thing is, it's like they need people like you to sell the product to other people.
Yeah, and just no.
And
especially-
they don't need people like me popping out of the woodwork and saying that everything they aimed to do with the metaverse was done in the 90s and failed.
Oh yeah, the metaverse offers nothing new.
Yeah.
I was just taking my jabs at Zuck there, but
Oh, yeah. The lizard person
the
is low-hanging fruit. So yeah, like VR, it's coming along. I still don't think it's there yet for mass market, largely because of cost.
it's just too hard to develop for too right now. The big problem is there just ain't a whole lot of games.
Yeah,
I could sell it much easier if I had a real blockbuster to sell other than Half-Life Alyx.
that's the only one.
That's the only one that is worth buying a Fern Buffalo. That's the only one that's worth actually buying a headset for if you've got the spare cash.
If you've got the cash, and that's a big if, honestly.
Yeah, it's literally the only game I would say is a system seller.
Yeah. I think you need more than one. There's plenty of other games you can play on it, on the VR, and I'd say No Man's Sky actually counts amongst those now.
No Man's Sky's okay in VR,
Yeah.
but
it's not a system seller, because you can play it just fine without the VR. And it doesn't really add too much.
And the problem with No Man's Sky is the way its VR is set up makes it so that
You can telefrag your friends.
well, there's that, yes. If you move your arm, the VR person gets priority, no matter what.
Yes.
And if you interact with the same box as your friends, yours wins, and they just die.
They just die. We found that out the fun way.
And you just have to love tap them. You don't have to...
Oh, yeah. As soon as the game realizes that two players are occupying the same space, it just says, okay, that person's on VR, therefore, die.
But the problem is, VR takes a lot to render stuff already in terms of system processes. And No Man's Sky's engine is not particularly well optimized for loading in all the crap they want to that you put in like your bases and stuff when you're building custom stuff.
Honestly, I think they outpaced their engine even before they finished making the game.
Yeah, and it gets to a point where if you're playing in VR, sections of the base just may not load.
Yeah.
And you'll fall. And if they don't load, they just don't exist in your game, so you just fall through the floor.
Yeah, and I saw you do that a couple of times.
Yeah, so when we got our bases really big when we were playing, I had to stop using VR and go play on PC.
Yeah. Alright. Next game, a remaster of the Spider-Man game. Has it been really that long that we need a remaster of it?
No, it hasn't.
No,
it has
Stop
not.
remastering crap. If you're going to remaster something that is really, really old and needs it. in order
Instead
to
of calling
be
it a
played again.
remaster, why didn't you just call it a PC port? Because that's what you're doing.
Or an HD update.
Or HD update. No, remaster apparently sells better, I guess. So yeah, I liked the Spider-Man games well enough. They were fine, except for the Mary Jane bits.
I only played the first one, and it was okay.
Except for the Mary Jane bits.
Except for the Mary Jane bits. Those were quite awful.
And the Miles bits. Except Miles at least got the option to hack some things.
Yeah, well, he had something that resembled gameplay in some universe.
Yeah, MJ's bits were throw rock and then sneak.
Yeah, just imagine the worst stealth mechanics you can possibly think of.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm going to assume that this includes the Miles Morales. I think it was an expansion.
I thought it was a standalone game.
Yeah, I think it may have grown to a standalone. All right, so that's that. Next game is Stray. You is cat.
Yeah, you use cat in Cyberpunk.
You is cat in Cyberpunk. I mean, it's novel enough. I might check it out if I get the chance.
It's not enough to sell me. I saw it and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
People are going to have to talk about this. Friends will have to play it. Maybe I'll look at it.
Yeah.
But I'm not paying full price for that.
No, I don't think it's going to be a full price game because it looks like a walking simulator with light puzzles.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But, yeah. It's just not usually worth the full price, asking price that they slap on these things. I mean, if they tell a good enough story, then I'm more than happy to play it, though.
It's also, Cyberpunk.
I don't mind Cyberpunk too much. It's just rarely done well.
No. I mean, it's literally Cyberpunk. The franchise.
Is it literally Cyberpunk?
Pretty sure it is.
I didn't think it was. It's just generically Cyberpunk.
It might be generic. I was under the impression that it was the Cyberpunk franchise, and that the people using the descriptor were saying that it was.
No, I don't think they were.
If it was the Cyberpunk franchise, you would have seen the CD Projekt Red logo slathered all over everything.
Yeah. That's why you can't.
That's what I would expect anyway.
Yeah, that's why calling a franchise Cyberpunk creates so much confusion. Is it Cyberpunk or is it just Cyberpunk?
Yeah, so.
Yeah. You're all wrong. It's Shadowrun.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not. I think it's just generic Cyberpunk.
So, yeah. Novel, but not paying full price for that.
You are cat. It is one of the few games you become cat.
Yeah, I can think of a couple of people who would have just go absolutely bonkers for that.
Yeah. Like, you're not a special cat. You're a cat with a little computer on your back, which I suppose allows you to talk to people. But that's it. Alright, Callisto Protocol. I thought this was Dead Space.
Well, it sure looks a lot like Dead Space.
Yeah, it's like you're in a Mars colony and there's aliens and melty, humany, mutanty things.
I'll be honest, I just saw zombies and switched off.
Yeah. There seems to be a lot of games like that this year, actually. It's like you're in a space colony and there's zombies and snore. Yeah, it's like every year through these E3 things, there tends to be a running theme for a lot of games. Like, you had Battle Royale a few years ago, as everything was Battle Royale mode. But this year, it seems like Space Colony with mutants, or Space Colony with zombies, or whatever.
Space in general is a thing this year. There's a lot of spice.
Spice! I mean, we've got Vermintide in space, but we'll talk about that later. So yeah, like there's these survival horror games, and they're all kind of like you buy them in a pack of 6. Honestly, they're all that generic.
Yeah, I've got so many left over that I haven't played from one of the bundles. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't need another one.
And none of them are really doing anything particularly new. I mean, I think the last one that really did anything new with the idea was Prey, but mostly what that did was weird things.
What that did was had excessively long loading times. Is what that did.
Oh yeah, that did.
Because I played that video game.
I've got it. I've been meaning to play it eventually. It's in my library because I got it as a freebie. But yeah,
Like those load times are awful.
and load times, yo. I did play Monster Hunter World, so long load times will not surprise me.
Yeah, but it's worse than World by a factor of like 10
Ew.
because you have to jump between zones all the time, and each zone has to load itself in its entirety.
Ew.
And it takes upwards of 2 to 3 minutes to load every single zone.
Who thought that was a good idea?
Somebody that doesn't understand system optimization.
Yeah, evidently. Alright, next is a game, like, on the one hand, I'm happy to see cell shading again. I have no idea what else is about this game is about. Rollerdrome.
I thought that it looked awful, to be totally honest.
Honestly, yes.
Like I think that they failed to pull off the look that they were going for. They failed to make the gameplay look compelling. Everything about it just struck me as an abject failure. I could see in everything they showed what they were trying to do, but in my opinion, they just failed at all of it.
Yeah, like the whole color palette, even though it was nice and cell shaded, it's like everything's kind of this reddish brown color.
Yeah, this is the game. Like, how do I explain the feeling I got from it? This game is no. I mean, it's more than that. I mean, like, this is a game that is made by somebody who is too close to the project to see that it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought this art style looked horrible.
Like,
Yeah, I thought everything about it looked bad, and the reason why there are people who don't think it's bad is because it's their pet.
yes. So everything's this reddish brown color. You're on roller skates of all things with guns, and you're shooting dudes and robots.
Yeah, there's like 3 people in the world who have nostalgia for that type of camp.
Yeah, like it's not impossible to make a game about roller skating, shooty bang bang. Honestly, that would be kind of fun.
No, the thing is that the whole roller derby thing has legs because it's goofy and stupid.
Yes.
It's you can't then penalize people by forcing them to endure something aesthetically unappealing in order to participate.
Yeah. So I like cell shading, and honestly, it aside from like 1 or 2 games, it's never been done right. It probably starts and ends with Wind Waker, honestly. You can make a cell shading game look great, and
Well, Borderlands was cell shaded,
well,
and
yeah,
I felt they had a good look going initially.
they have a good aesthetic, yeah. But yeah, just as it was starting to people were starting to really get the hang of it, cell shading kind of just vanished. In terms of like that pseudo anime look instead.
Yeah. I like the pseudo anime look better than cell shading. But this cell shading in particular just looks dirty, is the best way I can describe it.
Dirty is a good word, I think. Yeah, the whole game just looks dirty.
I mean, I'll take cell shading if I have to take, say, the Jump Force aesthetic as an alternative.
My poor character.
What did they do to Luffy? Why does he look like a potato with googly eyes?
Why does every character in that game look like they have downs?
Yeah.
They are shonen protagonists.
No character looks good. I'm pretty sure for All Might they just used an old wrinkled apple instead of a head. Couldn't tell the difference.
They used a photograph of Donald Trump.
Yeah. Why you gotta do him dirty like that, Jump Force?
Hey, what's wrong with Trump?
He's got a unique aesthetic, let's say.
He's in his 80s?
Is he really that old?
Trump is really old.
Yeah.
Like, everybody is always surprised because he's got so much more energy than his contemporaries.
Yeah. Mind you, that's not exactly hard.
Yeah, considering who his contemporaries are.
Just make contemporary being the literal potato.
Yeah. So yeah, Rollerdrome. Honestly, just yuck.
Yeah, it's gross. It's gross. It's not
gross.
It's absolutely not the sort of thing you want to sell yourself to prospective players as an up and coming developer. No way.
No, the gameplay was ugly, the trailer was ugly, the aesthetic is just yuck. Just no. No. Alright, next is Eternites, which is an anime action game cross dating sim thing.
I'd actually seen a lot of buzz about this before this thing came out, and so I was already sick of hearing about it. But honestly, the whole concept seems very cringe to me.
It looks peak Chuny. He's even got the possessed arm.
Yeah, I feel like this is a situation where they are effectively probing the market. Like, functionally speaking, they are probing the market to see how much gas Chuny has in the current market. And depending on whether Chuny has a lot of gas or not, it will determine whether it sells well or not. But from an objective outside point of view, it doesn't seem very special.
Yeah. It's like
It seems
before.
like Scarlet Nexus seemed like a better game, both in terms of how they sold it and what the actual game content was.
Yeah. I can almost guarantee that Eternites will have an anime attached to it at some point.
Yeah, it's one of those types of marketing efforts. But yeah, bolting on sort of like a sort of Chuny harem romance type approach to it, I think that's going to scare more people away than it will attract.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's aiming for a certain demographic that is, I guess you're playing as this pro-tycoon at the end of the world, and he's got this harem of beautiful women, and he's got this magical arm because his arm got cut off because he's so hardcore.
Even though he's the most generic-looking dude going.
It's going to be a cursed arm too. It's going to be like a demon arm or something.
Or something. Well, the cutscene, the trailer opened with him getting his real arm cut off, and then he just suddenly grows his magic arm. Look at a white.
Yeah, but it's going to be like an arm made of the baddies, though, or something like that.
Or something like that. Yeah.
It's not going to be some sort of abstractly neutral magic arm. It's going to be like, oh, I'm now cursed by the same substance the baddies are made of, or something like that.
Edge, angst. Yeah, it doesn't stop him from getting all of the ladies.
Well, it wasn't his third leg that got cut off.
I expect that joke will be done, though.
Oh yeah, almost certainly. It probably already has been. So yeah.
No, I mean like in the game itself.
Oh, yeah.
There's going to be innuendo associated with that arm, I guarantee it.
Innuendo?
Oh my.
Some crazy yandere bitch chasing him around with a pair of snippers.
Yeah. It sounds like a gag read out of a BlazBlue game, honestly.
If this isn't in the game, we're better writers than the writing staff.
Yeah.
Because this is a missed opportunity.
I mean, I think that's probably the way you really should go with Chuny, is just don't take it even remotely seriously.
Well, I mean, that's the way it's been done for the most part in anime of late. It's like the Chuny slice of the market is taken care of by the isekais. Where Chuny itself is deployed is invariably as a gag.
Yeah, what was that anime? I watched the first episode of it, and it was, the Chuny Toon as the main guy, but he's also the weakest of the
the guy who, the only thing he can do is make cosmetic black fire.
Yeah, that guy. I'm trying to remember what the anime was called now.
I can't remember what it was called, but it was, unfortunately, the story didn't end.
Yeah.
They did a course worth of run, and then they left the story dangling with no kind of resolution at all.
Yeah. So it just kind of stops. Anywho, now, the next game is one of the headliners for the whole shabackle. That's a word.
Yep.
Oh no, I cringed so hard.
Hello, fellow kids. We heard you like the fightings.
Yeah.
And, yeah, Street Fighter 6. It is magenta.
I guess they know the ethnic composition of the Western FGC.
It is magenta. They made Street Fighter magenta. Thing is,
I can't
whole
comment on that or I'll get called racist.
No, well, yeah, you probably will anyway, but that whole aesthetic, I thought we got rid of it in the 90s, because that was peak Hello Fellow Kids at that time.
Oh, because it was totally radical?
Totally radical. And, it's sticking it to the man, and all of that stuff.
Hey, I'm still sticking it to the man. As much as I can, man.
So yeah, everything is bright colours and spray paint and skater boy aesthetic and also half the returning characters seem to have been stuck in some sort of time bubble. Like Ryu has become somebody's dad and Chun-Li is now a teen again for some reason.
The thing is that they both have canonic birth dates, don't they?
Yes, they do.
So they should be in their 50s now. Like, I think there's a way more interesting rendition you can do of both Ryu and Chun-Li, where they are very sort of like matured, late middle-aged warriors who've basically had to make up for skill what they've lost in terms of youthfulness.
Well, Ryu's kind of going that way. Chun-Li hasn't, though.
I think, but with even if you say Ryu is going that way, I still feel like you've got to read into it an awful lot to see that.
Yeah, you do. Because there's not a shred of grey on his head.
And there ain't a whole lot to read in modern Street Fighter.
No. They also showed some very quick little snaps there. It looks like they got some sort of open world wander around thing for their single player story. I don't know why you'd want to do that for a Street Fighter game.
Yeah. This is the reason Street Fighter existing and and Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom by proxy are the reason I am under the impression Capcom's dev teams are completely segregated from each other.
Oh yeah. Well, that's why I'm pretty sure that the Monster Hunter team has a Dragonator pointed at the door. But I mean, we're not going to know if they've completely sunk it like they did with 5 until later, until we start seeing what the monetization is. If the game's still balanced and has fun characters and all of that, I mean, it's still okay, even if the aesthetic is absolutely cringeworthy.
It'll depend on what this season's gimmick is.
Yes.
Because there's always a gimmick system they put in these stupid games.
Yeah, there is.
Let's be real. Street Fighter hasn't had anything worth talking about since, like, forever. The only reason it continues to live is the name. The gravity that name has.
Yes. So, I mean, yeah, it's not impossible that they're going to lift up the franchise out of the pit it's in, but I'm not getting good vibes from this.
It looks terrible, and it doesn't look anything like Street Fighter.
No. It really doesn't.
Until we get a full breakdown of that whatever this generation's current gimmick is, and whether it gets and we get a demo out to test it, I'm skeptical at best of any Street Fighter after 5.
Yeah.
That team has not shown that they can put together something fun and competent.
Yeah. This is one of those cases where we hope to be wrong. But I doubt we're wrong.
Maybe after Resi 8 and DMC 5, Capcom execs bust down the door in the fighting game department and we're like, okay, what are you guys doing?
Get out. Go touch grass for a while. Alright, next we're getting a port of Tunic to the PS systems. I mean, it's a cute little game. It's been out for a little while now.
Old. It's old now. It is not merely, it was released a while ago.
Yeah. It was released start of this year? I haven't checked the date, but it's been out on PC for a while.
It's very unremarkable thing to announce at a show that is supposedly for big announcements.
Yeah. I think it was just there to fill a gap, honestly. It's like, yeah.
But it was not this entire presentation there to fill a gap.
Yes. Alright. Next game is Season, which I think they showed at the Game Awards at the end of last year. It's the Dork on a Bike. Some walking sim is about as best as I can tell you about what this game actually is. I couldn't even get what the plot was, because it's just the whole trailer is just a bunch of people talking in non sequiturs. I mean, there's probably some big artsy-fartsy plot through it, but I don't know.
As long as it's not a Depression era allegory.
No,
I think it's We Are Destroying the World allegory, honestly.
No, I don't care. Like, the entire thing was totally uninspiring.
I don't
care. It's the only reason it wasn't the least interesting thing shown was because Rollerdrome was also shown.
Yes.
But they're almost on top of each other in terms of how little I care.
It was utterly banal.
So, yeah.
You want to hook people. You want to give people an interest, a reason to care about your game. Like, show them great gameplay, show them what the story is, or something like that. They did neither. Season, they just showed people talking. And none of it was enough to actually put together what the story's about. And, yeah, I'm afraid that you can't just rely on good visuals either. Because that ship sailed like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, it don't. Nothing about anything in the Sony thing jumped out at me. This thing, I forgot it existed.
Yeah.
That's how much of an impact it left on me.
The only thing that did make an impact is Yoshi P turning up.
Yeah, the only reason that even had an impact on me was because Yoshi P turned up. It was
Yes.
even what he's shown was nothing that we haven't seen before.
I'm trying to actually figure out what on earth he did show. Like, it's a very actiony, combat-y Final Fantasy 16 that they
It was
showed.
basically just the trailer.
Yeah,
It was the same trailer we'd already seen.
yeah, with a
It's
few
the same-
snippets of gameplay in there.
Well, no, it's the exact same trailer I linked last week.
Yeah, it is.
There was no new gameplay. It was the same trailer we've already been shown.
Yeah. No, I'm
There
not
were
arguing
no
that.
reveals. There were no reveals. The
No new
only thing
reveals.
The only thing of note was that he showed up personally on camera. That's the only difference.
Yes.
Like
So-
it's like they're trying to set new records for unremarkableness with this presentation.
Yes. So it's okay. We've already done it. We'll just push this out the door, and then we can tick that box. But yeah, I mean, I'm still excited for Final Fantasy 16. I don't want to spoil myself too much on it. It's going to be a fun game.
I'm liking what I'm seeing, but we need to get more of that gameplay, and we need to.
Yeah,
see
I don't
what
feel
they
like
say
I've seen
about it.
anything yet.
Yeah.
Like
and,
I legit don't feel like I've seen anything yet.
and they haven't quite hit that wow factor yet.
Well, on the contrary, I feel like the wow factor is the only thing that I've been going for in what they've shown so far.
Mm.
Yeah, like
But-
a bunch of this is stuff that has potential, and it looks really good, and it's pretty, and the big kaiju battles look awesome. But
But the
It's
thing is
not-
that stuff is also not Final Fantasy. Like,
Yeah.
Final Fantasy does not have fighting game health bars. So, in order to actually close the deal on this, it needs to also be a Final Fantasy game, not just an arbitrary spectacle.
Yes. Like, at the moment, it looks very Devil May Cry. Which isn't a bad thing. But it's not Final
Well,
Fantasy.
it doesn't look like Devil May Cry, though, either, because Devil May Cry also doesn't have fighting game health bars.
No,
So
it doesn't.
what we are being shown is no cohesive gameplay. There's nothing coherent here. There's nothing which ties this product together. This could be a set of tech demos, and it wouldn't make a difference.
That's probably all we've got at this point, honestly.
If
So-
it's all they've got at this point, they've got a rough schedule to meet then.
Yeah.
but they're saying it's a year out.
Yeah.
So
I think they're getting to a point they need to start actually showing a bit of how the whole game comes together.
I'm going to choose to remain tentatively hopeful on this game, just because there's literally nothing else I've seen worth looking forward to.
That, and they've got kind of the all-star team working on this game.
They do have a good team, yeah.
Yeah, well, remember once upon a time, John Romero was an all-star.
Yes. And then his hair got better ideas. So yeah, that was Sony. And, is there a stronger word than apathy? Because that's what I've got.
No, I didn't care about anything shown there.
Yeah. As far
It
as
was-
I know, everything they showed is going to be coming out on the PS4 as well as the PS5. So there's still no reason to buy a PS5.
It was terribly unremarkable from top to bottom. Like, the thing that I thought was the most egregious, though, really was the emphasis on the VR thing. When nobody has the base system, what fraction of the people who actually manage to get a base system are you going to be able to convert to VR to?
Yeah. So you're pushing VR, and we're still dealing with
No,
microchips.
they're not pushing VR. They're pushing VR 2.
They're
There's a
pushing
big
VR
difference.
2, yes.
People like me who have the headset, they can't use the stuff.
Yeah. There will be some cross compatibility, but not all of it.
I mean, it's not exactly next gen, then, is it?
Exactly.
Like, you're just losing more and more marketing points as you go.
Why not just make them both compatible and just give a few extra options for VR2? But yeah. Mind you,
Because
actually,
they really wanted VR2 to be this big paradigm shifting thing, much like they did with PSVR, and it looks like they're going to flub it, not just because the technology is immature, but because they can't actually sell it to anybody.
yeah, no one
Because
there to buy it.
only a small fraction of people bought the PSVR to begin with. Like, I only bought it to tool around with it,
Yes.
and there's a very, very small fraction of the market who want a PS5 who actually managed to land one.
Yes. There's still people on waiting lists. A lot of people.
Yeah.
So
They haven't achieved the sort of market penetration they need to launch a device like the PSVR 2.
mind you, actually, reminding you by the microchip shortage, there's some ads going on TV at the moment from Epson printers. Their big thing is now their printers have ink tanks on them. And they're pretending that this is not the technology they could have done 20 years ago, and they're acting like this is a big favour to everyone.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about.
So what happened is printer cartridges have become so complex that they actually require microchips to keep the DRM on the cartridges.
Oh, you know how you get around that?
How's
Piece of
that?
scotch tape over the reader.
Oh, that doesn't work.
That
anymore.
works. It does work on some models, only
Some
older
models.
models though.
But no, yeah, not all of them. So yeah, basically they've made these cartridges so utterly horrendously complex that now you're paying for like a tiny little bit of ink, and the rest of it's the cartridge. So yeah, now they're actually putting tanks where you can just pour liquid ink into your printer now, and acting like this is some sort of new revolutionary thing.
We used to do that.
We used to, yeah.
I used to drill a hole in the side of the empty HP DeskJet 400 cartridges and then just squirt ink in.
You used to be able to do that, yeah. But the DRM happened, so you can't do that anymore. So yeah, printer companies, them still be scummy.
Well, I mean, the thing is that people seem to have accepted this, even if they don't realize it. Like, there's no real difference, as far as I can see, between what the printer companies do and what those how you buy those little bottles about the size of an undersized shot glass that contain coffee.
Yeah, those horrible little pods.
Those devices, those machines that take those pods, they're the same thing as a printer.
Yeah, although in the case of printers, I'm not sure if it's acceptance, more resignation, because nobody had a choice. At least with the coffee pods, you've got a choice.
Yeah, you can pay $5 to get coffee instead of, using the thing.
Or
Or you
make
can
coffee.
buy all of the paraphernalia to make coffee.
Yeah, you've got options. Yeah, anywho. That's just a pointless little tangent.
But the point I was trying to make is that even if you've got a choice, people still all opted for the sodding pottle things.
Yes.
Like, they have a humongous market penetration.
But then you're lazy and you're not really saving yourself anything.
And it's not just that you're lazy and that you're not saving yourself anything. You also are getting, roped into their little economy because you have to use their things, because there's this arms race, right, between the companies who make the little cartridges and the people who are trying to fool the machines into thinking they're using a real cartridge.
Yep.
As opposed to a third party. But you not only are you getting, roped into that type of economy, but people don't seem to realize the coffee is quite bad.
The coffee is not special, no.
I'm not a coffee person, so
Yeah. If you're relying on pods, yeah, I can not blame you. All right, shall we go straight into Dorito Pope, because Dorito Pope might take a little while.
we can get started on Dorito Pope, and after this Rathalos, we can take a break.
All right. So they started Dorito Pope with Dorito Pope talking on the stage, and nobody cares.
Yeah, I skipped through most of his intro talking. I was doing Heaven on High at the same time I was doing this, because I needed something to do at the same time, because I didn't want to listen to Dorito Pope and his guests and watch it with my face.
Yeah.
I couldn't face tank that.
Thankfully, they seem to have at least skipped the "Oh look how woke we are" presentations.
Oh, they snuck it in there.
Did they? I missed that, if that was the case.
They didn't have a full developer in this time, but they snuck it in there.
Maybe I just glazed over it.
Oh yeah, it's the thing I was talking about in all caps in the show host board.
Oh, the Ukraine shill.
And the climate change.
Oh yeah, that game. Yeah, I'm not talking about the game. That will come too. But like a lot of these other ones, these presentations, they'll always have this 10-minute segment of, look at these developers, they are working. Look how differently colored they are. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they didn't have one of those.
Worship us, we are fantastic. Never mind,
Look at
half
us.
of them are in jail now. Worship us.
Yes, they will tell you this at the same time as they tell you, hey, look at us giving these poor, unfortunate people with this disadvantaged skin tone who we don't believe can perform at the same level as people with a different color skin tone a job.
Yeah.
And you call me the racist? Okay. Sure. Okay, Jan.
Okay, Jan. We're not the one putting people up on the pedestal for no reason. People who would rather just get on with their job. Anywho, so yeah, thankfully we avoided those, because those are always nauseating. I'm not sure what the whole goal of them is either. It's like, are they trying to just build good PR? Because that doesn't kind of work, because these things are always very patronizing.
It plays well with the Twitter demographic and gets engagement, so they can pretend like it does.
Oh. Yes,
It doesn't have to actually... People don't actually have to like it.
Yeah. But if it makes the Twitter demographic happy, then they will not make money? Wait, hang on. Yeah, anyway, the logic kind of falls apart.
But yeah, it's just about the engagement, so they get visibility.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, it's the only thing that makes sense.
Tick the box, tick the box, tick the box.
So yeah.
Yeah.
We should take a break before we jump right into Keeley's stuff, because we just finished that Rathalos at a good time.
Alright, we should do that then.
So, here's some music, folks. We'll be right back. We're back.
That was enthusiastic.
I was choking on my water while I said it. What do you want from me?
Probably more than Jeff Keighley, who actually went on record ahead of this thing to say, "Don't get your hopes up."
Yeah, this was the first red flag.
Well, no, the first red flag was Jeff Keighley.
Yeah, but as far as on the actual presentation floor, Jeff coming out and his first thing he says being, by the way, you're probably not going to see everything you want to see, and trying to temper expectations off the bat is not a good sign.
Yeah. I can understand wanting to get out ahead of the hype train a little bit, but not for this sort of event.
Not on the presentation floor, you don't.
Yeah, especially considering who this man is. Like, he is like, his actual career is brown noser.
Yes.
That's who he is as a person, is brown nosing incarnate.
It be what he do. So, yeah, it's never a good sign when someone comes out ahead of a big presser to say, "Don't get your hopes up."
But he didn't just come out before it. He opened with it.
He opened with it. Let us look at this, shall we? And, yeah, there's a whole lot of white noise in this thing, honestly. It was just... Yeah, they didn't waste any time, thankfully. They just kind of bounced from one game of announcement to the next, which I appreciate.
They did drag the devs out on stage for a few of them. I do not remember which games had the devs on stage, and I'm not going to, because all of them were forgettable, and I get the feeling to prevent further Sonic Foxes, they've given them a very strict time limit and a script and pre-screened them.
Yeah. You don't really get the big, long dev interviews on stage anymore, not since, well, actually, No Man's Sky, of all things.
So yeah, the first game up anyway didn't have one. It was Capcom with Street Fighter 6 again. We already talked about that.
Yeah,
it's pretty much the same thing.
Here's Guile. That's basically what this whole trailer was. It's here's Guile.
Now Guile does look like an old middle-aged guy.
Yes, he does, and he's saying bald.
Didn't he kind of start the series as a middle-aged guy though?
Yeah, he was like in his late 20s, early 30s, I think, at the start of the series.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was a bit older than a lot of the rest of the cast.
He was also like the token American.
Oh, he's still extremely American. But, I mean, and he does still have the weird hair, so it wouldn't be Guile without the weird hair. But beyond that, it's like, yeah, okay. You just showed another character. That's fine. You're up to 5 characters now? Actually, that's probably one of the big disappointments about Street Fighter 6 is they've only showed about 5 characters. The 2 new ones, Chun-Li, Ryu, and now Guile.
They do this all the time.
Yeah.
They stagger.
Making sure to show only the ones that people know are already going to be there, unless this is, like something weird like Street Fighter 3.
Yeah, or Street Fighter 5's Charlie/Nash.
Yeah. But I mean, even for that sort of thing, that 5 characters is still pretty light on for one of these events.
Yeah, so, well, I mean, Street Fighter 5 started with 4, but its cast took forever to grow to its ginormous size because they staggered the releases. I hope they don't do that again, but...
they put half of it behind various different paywalls.
Yeah, the Street Fighter 6 is stuck on the wall permanently as I'll see. I'm not even considering a purchase until I hear feedback from people that have played it personally.
Yeah.
And by then the price will have dropped.
Maybe. So, first game is Alien Dark Descent. It's an Aliens game, with the Borg in it, apparently. Although, at least this time they haven't gone for the horror first-person-y thing. It looks more like a tactical, squad-based survival thing.
The first half of the trailer, the action-y bit, with the black female commando, just felt so terrible to me.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the acting was not awful in a way so awful it's funny, but just bad.
Like, the Alien franchise has a very solid run of cheese through it, and that's great. This did not hit that mark.
But this was not cheese. They tried to play it serious.
Yes.
And it just didn't work.
The presentation was just very flat. Both the voice acting and the the actual acting.
Yeah.
Action, I should say.
The second half of the trailer was normal. It wasn't exceptional. It wasn't bad. It was about standard what I expect from gameplay trailers these days.
Yeah.
But that first half was just exceptionally terrible, I thought, when they were going for something so serious business.
I mean, even when the commander, whenever the speaking character locked that the commander behind the door, where she would die, she didn't react. She just said,
Yeah, she just...
"Oh, damn it," and that was about it.
Yeah, it's just... That is not how any human would react to this situation.
Yeah.
I don't care how military trained you are. There's no training
Like,
that stops you from going, my squad mate just literally left me to die.
I am mildly inconvenienced. No, you'd expect rage, or you'd expect fear, or you'd expect just complete bleak resignation. Not nothing.
Damn.
Like, oh dear, I've locked my keys in a very easily opened box.
Like, oh dear, the alien is going to eat me now. Whatever
Oh
will I
no,
do?
whatever shall I do?
I guess I'm lunch today.
Well, is it any surprise though that these people can't write?
Well, they can't write, they can't act.
Whereas I'm hesitant to blame actors for a lot of things because there are times where the ADR should know better.
Yeah. And actually, for video games, there's still a very strong industry of lean out the window and ask the first person on the street if they want a voice job.
Oh, I don't know if the union will agree with you about that.
Yeah.
This isn't Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Where all the voices were one guy.
Oops, I think I killed the tail too early.
You did. Yeah. Conker's Bad voice game. Great game. Voice cast of what? 2 people.
Voice cast of The Great and Mighty Pooh.
Yeah, that's all you really need to know about that game. Alright, so yeah, as far as a tactical squad game for in the Aliens franchise though, not a bad idea.
We'll see. They didn't show any gameplay.
They showed...
The trailer was just generic aliens.
Yeah, they showed about 3 seconds of it. That was it. And it was mostly just people running down a hallway.
Yeah. I know Aliens has a cult following of people that really, really are into that franchise, but it's been dwindling over time.
Well, Colonial Marines kind of blew a hole in it.
Yeah, there's that for the
Wasn't
gaming
that just
side
a
of it
typo?
anyway.
Wasn't it just a typo was behind that in the
end? A
end?
single typo in a line of code, and it tanked the game. Made it unplayable. So, yeah, this is why you debug your code.
So yeah, it was a thing. I don't have anything to say about it. We didn't see anything.
Aliens is one of those franchises where it'll either be great or it'll be terrible, and there's little in between.
Yeah, I don't have anything to judge this on. It's just a game with aliens is coming out again.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they also showed these Borg things, then they didn't mention them again, so I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, next game they showed was Callisto Protocol. It's exactly the same as what they showed at the Sony presser.
Yeah.
It's still unremarkable.
I'll say this much. Despite how unremarkable it is, it still looked more interesting than most of the space stuff we saw this time around in this presser.
I mean...
Because it was just loaded with spice stuff.
Yeah. No Starfield, actually, in the main presser, which was slightly surprising.
Well, that might be Microsoft reserving it for their own thing.
Yeah, but I was thinking they'd at least make a mention of it. Try and drive that little bit of traffic over to their presser. Yeah. Anywho, next game is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Don't care.
I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce it properly because it doesn't deserve it.
Don't care. They rolled out some lady that claims she's the head of the team, and she said some words, and I don't care.
Yeah, as soon as I heard Call of Duty, it was just... It's one of those franchises that really needs to be put in the bucket for a while. Like 5 years. It's not as bad as Assassin's Creed, but it's pretty close.
I think it's worse than Assassin's Creed.
Eh.
It's still every year and a half we get one, at least.
Yeah. Well, Assassin's Creed was like every year at one point.
Yeah.
And yeah, we don't really need this cycle, honestly. Make something new.
Yeah, just they're not going to. It
And
makes
more
too
the
much
point,
money.
don't spend $500,000 to draw a painting on a dock which you're going to show for 3 seconds. Yeah, that's what sort of money you're talking about for that sort of marketing stunt. This is money that could have been better spent by into making the game better. Yes, I am salty about ridiculous marketing budgets. Can you tell?
I wonder how much of that is actually paying off, though. I wonder if anybody is doing the sums to see whether $2 million of conventional marketing or $2,000 worth of shilling by a Twitch streamer is actually worth more in terms of sales you manage to generate, or whether the marketing departments of these companies are actually furiously working to prevent the corporates ever finding out.
I think it's a bit of the second, honestly. But yeah, I'd like to see if someone has done that sort of research, because I think the results will be very telling. Alright, next is Flashback 2. I never played Flashback.
Yeah, I didn't either.
It's an
What was
old
this one again?
franchise. Very old
I
franchise.
don't remember this at all.
Yeah. That's how much impact it made, because I don't think they even really showed a whole lot in the way of gameplay in the trailer. Or anything in the trailer, honestly. So, yeah. So we'll give this one a big old miss, because it's just a big nothing. Nothing
I
burger.
don't remember what happened.
Yeah.
That's kind of an impediment to talking about it.
Yeah. Okay, Witchfire is a game that actually looks like a game, because they showed game.
Yeah, and that wins at points.
Yeah.
But
Dark fantasy FPS. Kinda Hexeny-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting, but nothing that really, really jumped out at me.
Yeah. It's circle strafe shooting too, which is good.
Yeah.
So yeah, win points there. It seems to have the Bioshock thing going on, where you got a gun in your main hand and you use your spells in the offhand. Sort of like how plasmas worked. That's about honestly all I can tell. So yeah. I'm not going to throw this one into the crap pile like I will for a lot of the rest of the presses. This one has some promise. As long as they don't turn around and ruin it. Alright, next, Fort Solis. It's a survival game in a space colony. Fort Solis was the one with Troy Baker, and that's all. It's got Troy Baker in it. Yeah. Did anyone else actually notice anything else about this game? Because I certainly didn't. It went in one ear, out the other.
Yep, this one was another one that I just didn't care about, and it went in one ear and out the other.
Yeah. Routine. We're in a space colony. This time it's got one with, it's got robots in it. Apparently it's been in development for 10 years, which is not a good sign.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think of all the games that have been in development for 10 years, and then think about how well they turned out. There's a few, and there's one big headliner that kind of draws it all together. But, well, actually, no, there's two now, because Star Citizen exists, sort of.
Yeah.
And they're not quite a decade, I think they're at 9 years. Next, we had Dwayne Johnson, who was there to shill energy drink?
Yeah, he showed up, and first he shilled an energy drink, and then he started shilling the Black Adam movie. And then they showed a trailer for the Black Adam movie.
Yeah. Now, honestly, the Black Adam movie, I'm thinking this was originally a movie for The Flash. Except
I've been hearing more and more of those types of stories lately, where this a movie was made is originally for one character, and then all they do is they change all the names
Well, the
because they
problem
get a different license.
Yeah, well, in this case, the character, or that's rather the actor for the Flash, Ezra Miller, is become so abhorrently toxic that no one wants to go anywhere near him. If they can't find him, or if they could find him, because they can't, because he's going to be sent to jail for grooming.
Which one was Ezra Miller? Was
What's
he
that?
the one on the TV show? Was he the one for the
Yes.
Flash TV show?
Yeah, he did the TV show and the movies, and then he went completely cuckoo bananas. And did things like biting people in a nightclub, and the grooming, and can't decide what's going on in his own pants. Ugh. It seems like every time he pops up in a headline, he's done something that means he should just be in jail. For his own good, if nothing else. As for Black Adam, though, I'm pretty sure Black Adam used to be a villain. So I'm not sure why he's a hero now.
He did the hero villain arc thing. Like he's gone back and forth. He's sort of like an anti-hero a lot of the time now.
Yeah,
I think that's what I've heard. It's not like I follow comics or anything.
That tracks with what I remember from when I used to follow DC.
Yeah, this is not anti-Flash. They try to make him a hero because that guy is just bonkers.
Yeah, this is not like they aren't making like the Bizarro Superman a hero, I think.
Yeah. Anti-Flash is Bizarro Flash, kind of.
But yeah, you got The Rock doing this whole talk, setting all this stuff up. And The Rock is really the noteworthy part here because even for The Rock, he is particularly bad because he's winging it.
Yeah.
And he's clearly winging it. Like, this looked like a live call or a single take recording.
Yeah, it's like he was in the gym and he got this call and said, "Hey, you want to earn $20?" So, yeah. I mean, I don't mind The Rock. He's fine. As long as he doesn't do a movie where he's trying to take himself too seriously.
I can't separate myself from the way he's been behaving lately.
Away from camera. I haven't paid any attention.
Well, he just behaves the same way every other Hollywooder does. There's nothing new about that.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So yeah, I mean, he's just kind of there, and they just kind of showed the movie, and
well, let's be real. All of this was just another Keely schmooze exercise.
oh yeah, absolutely it was. It do what he be. I'm up to 35 scales, by the way.
Yep, I'm almost up to 40.
15 to go, and we all get our mounts. Well, maybe not.
No, I like one.
Haven't you been carving the tail?
In the bank, I've got like one before we started this.
Okay.
In my inventory, I can't tell how many I've got because that would require me to be able to find things in my inventory.
All right, next game, Outriders World Slayer. Nobody cared about Outriders. It was one of these squad-based hero. No, it wasn't.
Oh, right.
Squad-based boss fight type game. Multiplayer focus thing that nobody really cared about.
Yeah, I stopped paying attention to this one.
Yeah.
This is going to be a more common theme for me as this show went on.
Yeah.
I just zoned out.
We've got Sarah Kerrigan at home. That's what this trailer was. So, yeah, I just don't care. Next, they showed a few Nintendo games, nothing of note. After that, Fall Guys is going free to play.
Yep, had a cute little trailer for it and everything.
Yeah, I don't mind Fall Guys. I don't think it got the attention it really deserved.
No, I do.
It ended up being the exact amount of flash in the pan that really justified, to be honest. Like, yeah. I mean, it's an interesting little game, but
guys, we didn't kill the buffalo.
Uh-oh.
What were you people doing? I was stunned that entire phase.
Don't you laugh at me, Rathalos.
He's definitely laughing. You can tell.
Like, you guys didn't kill the buffalo.
We didn't kill the buffalo.
You guys, I was stunned. What did you want?
I got out of the stun and tried to jump on his head because I realized the buffalo wasn't dying, but the marker went away right when I got there.
And this is how you don't do Rathalos.
I got sheeped on. Because I always try and stand on top of the sheep. In the hopes that Rathalos will hurt them. Because that seems to be a thing, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, but there's equal chance you're just going to get sheeped if you do that. Alright. So yeah,
Oh my
I
goodness,
wouldn't
my
mind playing a
latency's
little bit
so
more
bad.
Fall Guys at some point, but it's not... It's a fun
I
little
feel
game.
like that ship has sailed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was. I paid attention to it back when Fubuki was playing it.
Yeah. It's Battle Royale that does not want to make you tear your own face off.
That was meme game before Hololive Ian was a thing because I was following Fubuki playing
Yeah.
it.
I think the problem is also they went for meme game, but at the same time, another meme game turned up.
Yeah, they got a Moongust on.
They got a Moogust. So it was Battle of the Beans, and yeah, the other Beans won. Alright, next. Stormgates. This is the game that's been made by the old StarCraft crew.
Yeah.
It's Terrans vs. Demons. And
Yep.
the very few little shots of actual in-game stuff they showed, it looks exactly like StarCraft 2. Which isn't a bad thing.
I think they did pull him out on the stage for this one, right? I'm not
they did.
totally going crazy. Yeah, okay.
They showed a trailer which was honestly rather generic. It's like scientist finds the MacGuffin and then a demon comes and then they fight.
Yeah, and I like how he's trying very hard not to badmouth old Blizzard, or Blizzard they used to work
Blizzard,
at.
yeah, or modern Blizzard.
Yeah, modern Blizzard.
The salt is real. But yeah, Blizzard did those guys dirty, so I don't blame him whatsoever.
Yeah, it was. I was hoping he would just say screw it and go dunk on him.
Yeah. It might happen yet. It is still early days.
I did not know who this guy is off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But
we've got a couple of good RTS entries actually coming out. We've got this one, which is basically StarCraft 2 with a fresh coat of paint on it. And you've got Homeworld 3 is in the wings. I'm still terrible at Homeworld, but I still love it.
I think
we get
Homeworld
the
is very
mount.
hard to be good at.
It is very hard, yes.
if we get the mount on the attempt we didn't kill the buffalo, okay, good.
Yeah,
That wouldn't feel earned.
that would feel dirty. Leaving all these Poogies behind.
Poor Poogies.
Be free, Poogie.
I don't know. Pookie doesn't really look like a creature that can fend for itself.
No, it really can't.
I'm
Oh,
sure
actually,
there's
no,
some
it
trouble.
is. It is the personification of the random number god. It'll be fine.
It'll always find the truffle right
Yes.
next to itself when it goes snuffing.
Worship the Poogie.
Where were we?
Alright.
All right, new Blizzard employees.
So, yeah,
The biggest announcement thing that came from this announcement was they're actually making Vidya.
they are making Vidya, and they're not making drama like Blizzard seems to be doing. So you had
we'll
you
see.
had that team, and there was another team, which was Morheim's team. I forget what they're actually called.
Yeah, they didn't have anything at
Were
this
they
presser,
Frost
but-
Giant?
Frost
Or were we
Giant
already
was the
talking about
StarCraft
Frost Giant?
guys.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the StarCraft guys. Morheim's team, I can never remember what he's actually called it.
Dream
Bet.
something?
Something like that, yeah. Might have to look it up. But apparently, I think they have announced something, but it wasn't part of this. Hello?
Oh man.
I'm gonna get paralyzed. Oh no. I'm gonna jump on the Rathalos.
I did get paralyzed despite not being in the cone.
Yeah, the cones are more of a suggestion.
I can't do anything.
Uh-oh.
So I couldn't get out of it because I was paralyzed.
Yeah, I got slept by the sheep.
And I ran away because I'm bad.
Why? Why are you bad, Fern?
Because I was chasing the cat. Alright. Next game. So yeah, Stormgate. I mean, it's fine. We need more RTS. RTS hasn't really done a whole lot.
I'm just glad the old ex-Blizzard vets are actually producing something.
Yeah,
Because it's cool hearing news that they're going off to make their own studio, but when you actually see them going, hey, look, we got a product that we're working on putting out. That's a step more in
Well,
that
I
direction.
think it's unfair of you to want more than what they've shown, because you have to keep in mind this is not like a regular studio producing a game. There's no similarity here. They're starting from ground zero.
yes, they are.
Another company that announces something, well, I mean, they can keep a certain pace of announcements because they are doing these announcements after the thing has been in production for 4 years already.
Yeah.
Whereas most of these studios haven't been in existence that long. So for you to want more than that is just silly, to be honest.
All right, next is Hive Water. The climate change is bad, okay?
All right, this thing.
It's a rubber dinghy, and I couldn't honestly tell you what the gameplay is for this game because it was just a lot of people running around in a rubber dinghy.
Yeah, it looked like a walking simulator with a story attached to it. Well, not a walking simulator, but it didn't look very interesting.
It didn't look like much more than a walking simulator, honestly.
Yeah, and
And a rubber dinghy
their whole
simulator.
story is overnight. Climate change in the middle of the day ended the world, and now there's a big flood.
No, they made very certain that you knew it was a Saturday.
Yeah.
This is apparently important.
I didn't even think the climate alarmists thought it worked like that.
It doesn't work like that at all.
But yeah. I roll my eyes anytime climate anything is mentioned as a plot device.
Yeah,
It's not credible because it's one of those things that normal people can see every day doesn't apply. Like, people do not see the effects of climate change because it happened. Let's say everything they say about it is true, then you still can't see it because it still happens too slowly. It's like going to the beach to see if you can spot continental drift.
Yeah. Well, that's these weirdos who glue themselves to planes. Ugh.
Yeah, and then immediately afterwards, Keeley sneaks in the Ukraine shilling.
Well, apparently he had another game to show, but they are based in Ukraine. So, yeah, they couldn't actually make their game because things are exploding.
Allegedly.
But anyway, that was those. So, yeah, like, High Water, it looks so boring. It's just walking. You want a good game that plays that with that mechanic well? Go play Raft.
What is it? Are you trying to say that it's Dear Esther again?
It can't be quite that bad.
Because as the trailer pointed out, this is a game with ideology first. I have no faith that this will be anything resembling good.
Yeah, because they aren't interested in making it good. They're interested in the message.
Yeah. You want a good game? Go play Raft. Done.
Yeah. Next, we have a game that if it didn't look so crap with its art style, I would have raised an eyebrow at, but it just looks ugly.
Yeah, the art style is kind of off-putting. American Arcadia. It's a Truman Show type dealy by the look of it.
Well, not Truman Show, but it's set in this high-tech society, socialist utopia, except if you try to escape it, the government comes and chases you down.
The fact that you're also being televised, and if you become boring, you get cancelled, and they come and hunt you down.
They send more stuff after you.
So the whole plot is to escape from this really pretty utopia city with the seedy, corrupt underbelly. Which, I mean, it's not really a unique idea, but the whole televised angle is.
I mean, none of this looked like an underbelly to me. This looked like the whole point of the government was to get their kicks torturing their citizens, as most socialists do.
Oh yeah, the underbelly is a bit more metaphorical this time around, but yeah, it's still escape before you get murdercated.
Yeah, this was very much so a belly button, not an underbelly.
Yes. So, I mean, yeah, we can see where they go with this one.
I just can't get over the art style. It looks horrible.
Yeah, it's very simplistic. And kind of everyone looking a little bit boxy.
Yeah, I don't care their reason. It's ugly.
Yeah, it's just not a good look. But yeah, interesting story. We'll see where they go with that one. Next, Goat Simulator 3.
Had a funny trailer, but it's Goat Simulator.
It's Goat Simulator. That's all you really need to know.
Yeah, played the first one. It was okay for a few hours. It was a toy. I've already played with that toy. I don't need to buy it again.
Yeah, it was the game that put Coffee Stain on the map, though, and they've since given us Valheim and Satisfactory, so credit for them for that. Both are excellent games. Alright. Marvel Midnight Suns is the next game. It's Superhero XCOM.
Was this the one with... No, that's the DC... That's the... Wait. No, this is the one with the demon lady.
Yeah. So I think this is the first time they actually showed who the bad guy is, and it just seems like demon versions of the heroes. Which is kind of like... Really?
Yeah, Demon Queen of the Underworld kidnaps the heroes, makes them evil. Did we actually see any gameplay or even figure out what genre this thing is?
It's an XCOM game.
Okay.
XCOM and superheroes, which I've only ever seen done once before in a game called Freedom Force, which is on Steam. And to say that game is camp is a complete understatement.
All you need to do is hear the name.
Yeah. I mean, you end up fighting Hitler on the moon in the sequel, so really...
Well, every good action game ends in fighting Hitler on the moon.
Yes, I think the protag or the main guy is Minuteman from memory, and he's just dressed as a regular Minuteman. He doesn't have any actual powers.
I see.
I think that was that guy. So yeah, the whole thing is very silly, very very silly. So this one, however, looks dark and edgy because of course it is.
Yeah, it's taking itself super seriously, and I just don't care.
Yeah, I mean,
Marvel has sold all its goodwill.
All of the character designs look incredibly cringe from what I...
Yeah, they do. It's like, I thought we got over this after the X-Men movies.
Yeah, the only character I liked the design of was Venom.
But because Venom looks like Venom.
Yeah, because he's supposed to look like that.
Yeah, he's supposed to look like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, but every other character isn't supposed to try and match Venom's aesthetic. That's the thing.
Yeah. I have no idea what Spider-Man we had. I mean, he was wearing a black suit, so he could have been Miles, but he didn't use any electric powers, so I don't know.
Rules that they're playing by for it. There's so many continuity shenanigans you can get into with Spider-Man especially.
Especially Spider-Man, because the multiverse is a thing for him now. Has been for a while, actually. But, like, XCOM, I think, with superheroes is a very fun formula. And it's one you can do a lot with. But why suck all the soul out of the characters? Make them all generic, edgy, dark-suited figures fighting evil demon versions of themselves? Do we start ringing the missed potential bell here?
No. I mean, superheroes right now, I think I'm just sick of in general.
I think so. Most of the world is. I don't think that you are in any way an outlier. I think people... Like, all you need to do is look at the Morbius phenomenon.
Oh, it's Morbin time?
That is one narrow sliver of the grand phenomenon that is Morbius.
Oh, while we're on that topic, I got a good giggle, actually, out of the last weekend, because when the Morbin time meme caught on, Sony thought it was a good... Was it Sony? Universal. Whoever. Thought it was a good idea.
The same. I'm pretty sure Sony Universal is the thing.
Yeah. They thought, everyone's talking about our movie again. Let's put it back into cinemas.
Yeah, they got memed into losing millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah. It actually works out because of the number of cinemas they did. They only made about $280 per cinema.
Yeah, I think that the total taking for that weekend was like $80,000 or something.
Yeah. So Cracked actually did a big list of things that would have made more money than Morbius.
Like, I'm absolutely... I've had it to the back of the eyeballs with the meme. Like, I'm sick of hearing about Morbius. However, It is amusing seeing Sony lose so much money on its account.
Oh, yeah. And get absolutely dunked on. But yeah, superheroes, I think after Infinity War happened, that would have been a good spot to let the whole thing rest for a little while.
Yeah, I think that's the end of the arc for all intents and purposes, and they need to let it rest because it's going to die. It's going to be like so many other things before it, like westerns and noir and that.
Yeah.
where it comes to the end of its arc, and it'll be probably decades before you can meaningfully bring it back again. Although, considering the sort of cultural, spiritual desert that the entirety of the Western world is currently stuck in, they'll probably try and spend another decade wringing more money out of this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The enthusiasm is really not there. No one cares.
Yeah, but I don't think that the Hollywood execs are in any way in touch with what people care about.
They really aren't. They really, really aren't.
And it's right when Marvel was at the tail end of this movie franchise spiel, when the superhero vomit just really happened all over media.
Yeah.
Like, because I remember I finished Worm right before that, which is also Cape stuff.
Yeah,
but
really,
right after
dark
that,
start.
yeah, and right after that, the superhero vomit just happened. I'm like, okay, that's enough of that.
Yeah. I think they would have been better served if after Infinity War wrapped, they just went dark for 5 years.
No, I think that people are even more sick of dark than they are.
No, as in dark, as in say nothing, release nothing.
Oh, well, you just got done calling Worm dark, so how was I supposed to follow that?
Wrong kind of dark. So, yeah, if they just shut up and went away for 5 years, and then came back with a bang, that would have been better.
No, I don't think that they could do it. I don't think that the way in which cultural tendencies drift would accommodate that type of thing.
Yeah,
I don't think it can actually be done. Number one, there's no record of it ever having been done successfully before.
And there's no money being made while you're not releasing anything.
And number two, the only way you can do that is if you've got something to put in its place, which means that thing will have to go on its own natural arc before there's room for something else, which will take longer than 5 years.
Yeah. But, yeah. Immediately continuing to bang the drum immediately after it, I think has only just hurt them. Wouldn't necessarily have to be a long period, but just a gap, something. Instead of, digging through the D-list heroes. Ugh.
I think we've reached such a point of oversaturation now, it's too little too late.
Yeah.
This genre needs to go the way of the Western.
It just needs to back right off for a while.
Yeah, I think that you saying a while is rather optimistic because I don't think that you will live to see it come back.
Probably not. If it dies, it'll be dead.
Yeah, like it's gotta be nearing the point where it goes the way of the Western, where after the last few shekels are wringed out of it, we move on to the next thing that gets burned out.
It'll pop up as a parody every now and again, and that'll be it. Alright. Where were we? Cuphead! They still haven't released it.
I thought this DLC was out already, TBH.
Yeah, no. They've been talking about it for, well, what has it been, 3 years now?
Long time.
Long time. And it's always been, it's coming. It'll be coming out at the end of the month. For realsies this time.
Please kill this thing before I die. I've got 6 stacks.
Why do you have 6 stacks?
Because he only targeted me.
Oh, okay. He's a big mini jerk face then.
Yeah, he got the dub target this time.
Yep.
Oh, did we get his tail?
Yep, we got it. So, yeah. I mean, the amount of time they've had on this expansion, I hope it's as big as they seem to be letting on it is. Because they seem to be implying that it's kind of bigger than the original game now.
When development time gets this long, I've got to wait for actual people I know to come back to me and tell me.
Yeah. I think they may have been better off releasing as a standalone at this point, but never mind.
Yeah, it's taken this long. I thought it was already out.
Silksong.
Yeah, not sure what's happened to Team Cherry. Last I've heard, they've just gone incommunicado.
Yeah.
Development. It has to be in development hell. They must be having internal problems. So you can pretty much kiss Silksong goodbye at this point.
I really hope not.
It's they are in Victoria.
Yeah.
In your in the nightmare area for lockdown stuff. And
yeah.
Who knows what that did to to development.
The lockdowns put so much stress on businesses down there, it wasn't even funny.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if your government is the reason that Silksong died.
No, it wouldn't be my government. But yeah.
Yeah, that's state-based and
state
government. Like, yeah, Australia's a federation. It's not structured the same way as the US, but it's still a federation.
Yeah. But all the all the koofery came from the state level. All right. So yeah, thankfully, Cuphead was great. I'd love to play more of it. I've been wanting to play more of it for quite some time. Maybe I should go and play the original one again. Get good all over again.
Yeah, I beat it when it came out and moved on. It was good, worth the price, but I don't have a particular love for the franchise or anything.
Yeah.
It's just a thing in the background that I may choose to pick up and play again, maybe one day.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing you can just say, yes, I wouldn't mind playing more of that. Doesn't necessarily have to be Cuphead specifically, but more of that sort of thing, please. And
So yeah,
maybe we'll get some more terrible game journalist memes out of it at least. Not that we need more of them, but still. What was next? Neon White, that card-based FPS thing.
yeah, I didn't understand this.
I
so
have
tuned
no
out.
idea what was going on in this. No. I mean, there's a guy who's wearing a demon mask because he's apparently trying to get into heaven, and he's doing stuff.
Wearing a demon mask doesn't sound like an ideal way to get into heaven.
Well, he's a sinner who's trying to redeem himself, or something like that. That's the plot.
Yeah, Heaven's Wetworks guy hires him to go do dirty jobs so he can earn good boy points.
If
and
that
get into
little
heaven.
girl who was issuing the missions was Uriel, I'm going to be worried.
Oh, you've been reading too much Dresden.
Yeah. That Dresden isn't the only one that puts Uriel in that position, but yeah. So, I don't know. There's a lot going on in this trailer, and I have no idea what any of it really means. But apparently that's coming out at the end of the month as well.
Looked pretty out there.
It does, doesn't it? Kind of nuts. I mean, if it tells a good story, I think I'll be in on it.
If the mount does drop, we should probably just give it a ball.
Yeah, I think we
Because
should.
we're
We're
about
pretty
You guys
close.
nearly there at this point.
yeah, we're approaching we're approaching it.
I'm at 41.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
at
at
33,
44.
plus I've got 1 or 2 in the bank.
Yeah. Next, Midnight Fight Express, a isometric arcadey brawlery thing.
Yeah, saw this
Ah,
and was like,
they say, oh, it's made by one guy. Yeah, except it's also made by the all these other people as well.
yeah.
One guy plus all of his friends.
Yeah, one guy plus all these industry professionals who helped him out.
Yeah, the one guy and all the dudes he hired when he couldn't finish it himself.
Yes, or once the big dev money got behind him. So it's, I mean, that's probably how it started out. Was just one guy making a game, and it just blew up on him. But what we have is some sort of absolute mess of things.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of descriptor of what the game actually is.
Yeah. What they did, however, show was it has a lot of cosmetics, and I have a sneaking suspicion I know how you get them.
With your wallet.
With your wallet. Alright, next! Warframe! It's still Warframe. Next! Okay, we got 2 games put together. I'm just going to throw them both in together. Honkai Star Rail and Zenless Zone Zero. Honkai Impact in space and Genshin Impact in not quite space. Whoopsie.
Are you gonna get barbecued?
Yeah. You saw nothing?
Oh, I saw those 9s pop up over your head.
But yeah. I haven't, like, the games that the Honkai Impact team makes, like Honkai and Genshin, are both really great games.
Yeah, but I tune China.
The monetization and the China.
Well, I mean, you if you want to worry about the China, you need to worry about everyone that Tencent has money in.
Which is
Are you willing to commit yourself to that? Because there's a lot of games you can't play anymore.
Yeah, if you're going to avoid the China money, you might as well just give up on gaming entirely at this point.
Yeah, because there is no gaming industry outside of China anymore.
But
Not without some sort of tentacle stuck in there, yes.
yeah. Anyway,
That's
So I'm tentatively interested in them. If they are going to start making games that don't require you to pour endless torrents of money in, then I'm willing to look at them.
yeah. Like if we could play Genshin without the monetization, I'd be all for that.
Yeah, like if there was like a premium version you could get where you paid AAA price and you just got, oh well this, and if you're willing to give us $100 up front, we'll just unlock everything. You can play it like a regular game.
Well, maybe not $100, but $50, yes. Yeah, give us a bit of money up front, and then you can just do everything.
I say $100 because it's what it costs to buy a game here.
Yeah,
It's like,
That's
like
true.
even if you say $50, there's nothing in the $50 category in New Zealand. I'm sorry to tell you.
outside of a Steam sale. So yeah, I wouldn't mind that at all, but they make too much money through the gacha. So yeah, both are very flashy games and very interesting looking games. I have no idea what the story is in any of them, but yeah. Next game we have old school Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder Revenge. It's like the old arcade games.
they showed off Casey Jones.
They showed off Casey Jones as the sixth,
And this,
what is he, the seventh playable character?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, the four turtles: April, Splinter, Casey. Yeah. April just seems to murder people with a microphone. I don't know what's going on with her.
But the thing with this is another one I thought was already out.
Yeah, I thought this one came
Yeah,
out.
when you said that, when you said what it was, I was like, oh, because I assumed it must be something different, but no. This one's still, I guess, waiting to be released.
I guess. But hey, they've got 6-player co-op, which is different from one of these games. It's going to be visually chaotic. I hope you enjoy that. Alright, so that's that one. Next is... Super People.
Super people.
Super People. It looks like your most generic battle royale shooter, except everyone seems to have a half-assed superpower to go with it. And the trailer was just...
I don't even remember this with you mentioning it again.
Yeah, that's how bad it was. It's like, it was that woman whose feet explode and... Oh shit, not again. I'm trying to do too many things at once here. Shush.
Yeah, I had already cast a Swift cast because I could see where this was going.
So yeah, this is the one with the sniper in the helicopter and the woman with the exploding feet and all of that. And it was magenta as all get out. So hello, fellow kids.
Just because people exist who are younger than you does not mean they are all into Vaporwave.
And apparently they are. So yeah, I saw absolutely nothing here worth talking about. Honestly, that's probably the only thing that's of note of it, is it's just completely unremarkable.
I'm still drawing a blank. That's how much of an impression it left.
I mean, Battle Royale with superpowers. Yes. What do you mean everyone's got a gun?
I'm just getting flashbacks to the Battle Cattle era, though.
Yeah. Like, we had the Battle Cattle era, which everything was a hero shooter, and then we had the MOBA era, where everything was a MOBA, and now we've got everything with this just generic shooter nonsense thing with edgelords and, yeah, magenta people.
Including Fallout 76.
And yes, it had its Battle Royale mode, which
Yeah,
they
just-
took out of the game, by the way. It's out. It's gone now.
Because nobody asked for it.
Nobody asked for it. Nobody played it. It was a complete waste of time and money. At least I had the good sense to take it out in the end. Next, Humankind. It is not quite Civilization still.
It would be.
Yeah.
I agree with the take that I saw online. Is I feel like it would be cooler if it was just called Mankind.
Yeah, but we can't call it Mankind because that's sexist. Even though in that sense, Mankind is an abbreviation for humankind. Not
Well, yeah,
man as in male.
Well, yeah, that's fine, but I think that that name would have had a lot more punch and heft to it.
It would have. But, yeah. I mean, the game's fine if you want to play Civ, but you don't want to play Civ. And it's got that unique mechanic where at every age you pick a new Civ to emulate. But honestly, I'd rather just go play Civ. Uh, Next, we're reaching the bottom of the barrel here. Uh, Next was One Piece Odyssey. It's a One Piece game where the characters don't look appallingly awful. Well, except Frankie, but he's supposed to look like that. So, I mean, it's didn't show a whole lot in the way of the game, what the gameplay is. They say it's a JRPG though, but that could mean honestly anything at this point. They have got a completely unique story, which is again a first. I'm wondering if Oda actually wrote it, or if someone just slipped him too much scotch and wrote a story in his stead.
That man's very busy writing the main story already. I don't think he would have time for a spin-off story.
He's got to have reached the end of the story in his planning at this point. He's got to.
Nah, never underestimate an author's ability to keep a story going forever instead of just ending it.
Yeah.
You cough, George R. R. Martin cough.
Just end your damn story and go away already.
No, we need him relevant so we can slap his name on Elden Ring.
Oh, yeah. Where was his contribution for that again?
Getting his name slapped on it.
Yeah, that's about it.
He's said some pretty revealing things about his actual attitude, and so I wouldn't expect that the story will ever get finished. And I'm not just saying that as it's probabilistic given how long it's taken and how old he is that it'll never get finished. Number one, he said that he won't allow anybody but himself to finish it. So it's not going to be like Wheel of Time, where Sanderson finished it, right?
I think so, yeah.
But instead, like, his attitude, his avowed attitude, like, from his own lips, is that it's his brand as George R. R. Martin that people should be invested in, so they shouldn't care about getting that particular story finished. It's just so long as they can keep consuming his work.
Yeah, it's kind of a crap attitude to have, honestly.
It's an incredibly miserable attitude to have. I mean, and this is me parroting mostly other stuff that people have said because I don't have any investment in his products at all. Mm-hmm. But you have kind of got a moral obligation to deliver the finale of a story, which is the thing that gave you the career that you've got.
People need that closure, yo. Otherwise, people just walk away.
Like, they came to you and gave you this grand career on the basis of the promise that you would finish the story.
Yeah.
You can't then just turn around and not do that and expect them not to get ticked off at you.
Which reminds me, on a related note, did Patrick Rothfuss ever finish his story? He was going to do a trilogy and then he just stopped.
Well, he's not going to die at least, so... Well, he might, but...
He might, but...
He's not actually about to pop his clogs the way George R. R. Martin is.
No, but I think he's too busy playing D&D to actually do anything.
I don't know what he's been doing lately, but
people don't care about his story anymore.
No, because he left it too long.
Left it too long, and his protagonist was Mary Sue in the first place. But still,
yeah, a lot of people tried to shill his book to me, and I was resistant to it.
It wasn't bad. I think it waffles for a bit, but it sets the main character up as a Mary Sue right from the get-go.
Like, I am more than happy to read incredibly crappy fiction.
Yes.
If it, tickles the right fancy. Yes. But I don't like the sort of feeling like my intelligence is being insulted. Like, I don't like it. Also don't like people selling me a product with pretensions that it's high art when it is clearly just wish fulfillment fan fiction.
Yeah. Which is what Rothfuss's stories are. Like, this character's a Mary Sue, he's ridiculous and he's overpowered right from the get-go. That's fine. Set that at the start and away you go. But, yeah. Anyway, people are going to lose interest in Game of Thrones. People are already losing interest in Game of Thrones.
Well, the thing is that he's got all of these other projects in the works. Like, you can consider Elden Ring one of them if you must. But, he's got these other projects in the works, which are like prequels and stuff. Yeah. And he doesn't understand why nobody cares.
Yeah, because people are invested in this other story. They want to get that finished first. Then you can expand out. All right. Where were we? Oh yeah, we were talking about One Piece. So yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on this because I do enjoy One Piece, even if it takes. It took me best part of a year to get through the anime, so I'm not gonna waste that time. I'm kind of invested now, even though I'm.
Is there like any climax visible that is being approached?
Yeah. Like the plot is at the end of the big Wano arc, and they've already basically said, okay, One Piece is on this island, which is kind of near here. You need these 4 keys to get it. We've got these 4 keys. So all that's really left for them at this point is to beat the warlords, of which they're taking out 2. One of which, number 3 is Luffy's mentor, who's probably going to turn up and be a bad guy just to fill
Shanks.
Shanks, yes. He's probably going
I don't
to
think you call him a mentor. He didn't do a lot of mentoring.
He gave up his arm.
It's not really mentoring though.
No, it's not. But Shanks will probably be show up and say, beat me and prove you're worthy, or something like that. Probably a bit less cliche than that, but
I would hope so. He's way too much of a looming figure in the story because, like, I think that story is the natural shape of it. If I had to guess, and this is again going to be too cliche, but the natural shape of it, I guess, would be the idea in Luffy's head that he can't beat Shanks because Shanks is too big.
yeah, I mean, Shanks showed up, stopped a war just by turning up. That's
And
what kind
like,
of guy
if
he
you
is.
if you like, I said that he wasn't much of a mentor, but if you think about who Shanks is in Luffy's mind as well, there's something much, much larger than just the latest big pirate king to bring down.
Yeah,
Because Shanks is like instrumental in him triggering his journey.
yes. Shanks set him off on his journey right from the get-go, and
So it's going to be one of those face yourself type episodes, I think.
yeah. So I think that's going to be there. Big Mom and Kaido will be dead or dealt with by that point. I forget who the 4th one is. It's probably going to be Blackbeard by that point. It is Blackbeard because it used to be Whitebeard. So you've got that. So the end of the story is in sight. But yeah, it's probably going to be another 4 years or something before we get to that. Because that's just how it be. Next game, we're approaching the end. Soul Hackers 2.
I thought that was out. I'll be honest.
I thought that was out too.
Yeah, I don't follow the Soul Hackers franchise. I do like me some SMT, but I don't know anything about the Soul Hackers franchise. It's just one of the ones that's went over my head.
Their
I
boobs
thought
are
you
upright
played
this
it.
time.
I thought you played that one. Oh no, it was Strange Journey was the one that you played. That was
Yeah,
Yeah.
Strange Journey was the special one.
Was it Devil Survivor, the other one?
Devil Survivor was the one me and Ball both played.
Yeah.
I played the second one as well, though.
I only played the
Oh.
first one.
I think I played part of the first Soul Hackers, maybe? It was that long ago, though. I can't remember.
I accidentally chose the hardest route, which is a pure lore. The post game, like the overclocked part of the lore ending, is apparently the hardest boss fight that there is in the game.
Oh, so you just made it very difficult on yourself for no reason.
Yeah, well, I liked Amane.
Fair enough. So yeah, there's more SMT goodness.
Yeah, if I feel like I have time to sit down and do a single player game again, and I have the energy to do it sometime, Soul Hackers is on my radar as a potential pickup, but it's not a priority.
Yep. Okay. Metal. I'm going to skip straight past Mario Strikers because we spoke about that a couple of weeks ago. Metal Hellsinger. It's that rhythm FPS.
Another one. This is not BPM.
They've been selling this on the basis of the vocal talents that they've gotten onto the project,
Yeah.
which suggests to me that it's for a very particular type of fan.
Yeah, it does.
Oh yeah, the dude was like, headbanging is not mandatory, though it is encouraged.
Yeah, they're going for a very specific market here.
I remember my timeline was flooded with the announcement that they got the vocalist from System of a Down on the project.
Yeah, I mean, they've got some big names in the heavy metal industry there if you're really into that sort of thing. As for the gameplay, I have no idea. Like, it just looked like FPS gameplay. Apparently, there's some sort of rhythm mechanic tied into it, but I couldn't see it.
Yeah, they tend to be relatively subtle in that it's, well, if you do play in time with the rhythm, you get significant bonuses in your damage and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You would see it going towards the crosshair in that trailer.
Oh, is that what that was supposed to be? Okay. I just missed that entirely. I was kind of glazing over by that point. Because this thing... The Keighley show stretched on for so long.
Yeah. This was a trailer. The guy wasn't in Keighley's little stage, but he was on... he sent a video in, and he just looks like a metalhead.
He does. I mean...
He's got the long hair, the t-shirt, like, it's just stereotypical metalhead.
I mean, props to him. He's making something he's passionate about. Yeah. Next game is The Quarry. It's idiot teenagers getting murdered.
Yeah. This stuff was cool when I was a teenager. Not so much anymore.
The teen slasher movie.
Yeah.
I never saw the appeal, to be honest.
Yeah. I honestly really like them when they're just taking the piss at this point.
Yeah,
there's that many of them.
I'm too old now. The tropes are too easy to see. The way the story is going to go is entirely predictable.
All the characters are made in a factory because they're they all fit the same archetypes.
Yeah, so it's going to need a recommendation from somebody for me to even look at it. And yeah, I don't see anything worthwhile in what they showed. Especially because it's all Zoomer talk the whole time.
That final line on the thing, it was like, "This is how it is, noob."
Yeah, it was.
Who says noob?
A hybrid. Yeah, it was a hybrid of early 2000s and Zoomer talk, and it was just the cringiest thing you've ever heard.
Hello, fellow kids. I says the noobs. I know we're on the kind of the older end of things at this point, but.
Yeah, we're all in our 30s now, dude. We're old.
Yeah.
I
mean, I'm still in my early 30s, but
yeah, we ain't.
Yeah, we're about to kiss them goodbye, so
it has always been like in media just this trend chasing, and it's always embarrassing.
I mean, I think we're just starting to understand the get off my lawn feeling.
Oh no, we've been telling people to get off our lawn for ages. Mainly because they keep starting their signposts and claiming it's their lawn. Alright, next is Nightingale, the steampunk survival game.
I remember them showing this one off before, but...
At the Game Awards, yes.
Yeah, it didn't seem to show any kind of concrete actual game.
They did.
Like, how does this all mesh together? How does this all work?
They talked a little bit about how their world kind of comes together, which is you find cards around the place and then you slot them into a machine and essentially create a new world. Kind of like the books from Myst. I mean, that's an interesting mechanic if they can pull it off. But beyond that, they didn't really show a whole lot. It's like, hit tree with axe, hit rock with picks. Here is dude, shoot him face.
Shoot him face good.
Shoot him face good. He has a basket on his head, therefore he evil. That said, though, I probably will end up playing this one. I got a group of friends who's interested in playing it, and they...
Yeah, this seems like a fun game.
Yeah. And it's the sort of game you really, I think, need to do with friends, because... Yeah, okay, there's a plot through it, but it's it's more the make your own story type games by doing silly nonsense.
Rathalos, let me go dance on the freaking animals.
Oh. Also,
no, I'm not going to get to. He's just going to keep tail swiping me.
That's fine. I shotgun them all. It's fine.
He literally tail slapped me for the entirety of my dance charge, so y'all don't have quadruple finish this time. Have fun.
Anybody who's fought a Rathalos knows that feel.
Rathalos can dance too. That's how he dances.
No, I got stunned.
Next game! I don't want to talk about this. I really don't.
I don't know. What
Oh
you're
yeah, I
talking
don't want to
about.
talk
I can't
about
see
this
the
one
list.
either.
Yeah, it's probably just about... It's Saints Row.
Oh right, that cringe fest.
Oh yeah, and it still looks dreadful.
The only notable thing about this is that the development team are falling into every possible trap that they could, and that they're getting super hyper defensive about their design choices,
Yeah.
which is like the ideal way to get people to not buy your game.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm getting Tamim DMC flashbacks here.
So, yeah, like, they've at least... They're putting out the demo now, and it's the character creator demo. At least they've kept one thing, is that you can make your character look as stupid as you can imagine. But the rest of the game, aside from that, just doesn't look like Saints Row. Not how it ended. Honestly, I'm not sure why they resurrected this franchise. It was finished. The story was told. Oh wait, actually, I do know why. Because money.
Yeah, that's usually always the answer.
Yeah.
Oh, why is the Rathalos bullying us?
That's what. Why is he? Come back here. Okay, now he's going to talk to me.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to start making the woke remake a thing if this is successful. So we need to make sure it dies on the vine.
Thankfully, the overwhelming response seems to be let it die. Like
At least in our circles, but what's the general internet's opinion?
Also let it
Well,
die.
the thing is that if you look at how Saints Row sold itself, it was by looking brassy and cool. And this is neither of those things. It's a game about a bunch of soy boys.
Yeah. Insufferable teenagers. With really pink guns.
Like, there are a lot of people who did not like the character Johnny Gat. However,
I'm one of them.
Johnny Gat is sort of emblematic of the attitude of the franchise as a whole.
He's a smug ass.
Yes, but the game was a smug ass as well.
Yes. And it
This
reveled
new one-
in its arsery.
Well, this new one is a whole different type of smug.
Yeah.
An alien type of smug.
Not a fun kind of smug.
This is a actually telling the audience I'm better than you type of smug.
Yes. Like,
that's reflected in the way the developers have been behaving. It's very, well, if you don't like it, it's because you're not good enough. It's a failing on your part if you don't like it. Not, oh, well, there's no disputing about taste. They aren't saying there's no disputing about taste. They're saying, oh, well, you're bad. If you don't like it, it's because you're bad.
Yeah. Talk about this game, but I really hope it falls flat on its face. Like, we're at least starting to see that people are willing to make their voices a bit more known about crappy business practices. Not that the developers will listen, but people are at least starting to speak up.
Yeah, well, you can probably thank Blizzard for some of that.
Yeah, Diablo Immortal, it's the bottom of the Metacritic now. They beat themselves.
Blizzard continuing to be only bested by Blizzard products.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised they haven't thrown up the woke screen again at this point. Maybe they've just run out of them. But that's always been Blizzard's response, well, modern Blizzard's response, is anytime there's a criticism or yes, is throw up the woke screen.
Turn more girls into fruit.
Turn more girls into fruit. Although, after their last one, I don't think that's going to work no more. Because, oh boy. Because, Blizzard likes the eugenics. Anywho, let's not go down that. Next, Warhammer 40k Darktide. It's Vermintide in space.
I'm fine with this.
I'm fine with this. You're playing as the Eye Guard, though, so,
Life
congratulations.
expectancy measured in minutes.
Yes, you're expendable. Enjoy. Although you have an Ogryn with you. That's something. You can play as an Ogryn too, actually. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, the thing with Ogryns is they don't tend to wear armor.
Yeah. And they tend to have room temperature intelligences. So yeah, I mean, I think they finished Vermintide. They're not making more content for it.
I have not followed up on it.
Yeah, have to have a look. But this is essentially another sequel to Vermintide, which is fine. Vermintide's great. Next, Layers of Fear. It's some sort of spoopy horror thing. They went the Mind Story one, this one, because there's always one. It is so spoopy.
Yeah, I had tuned out by this point.
Oh yeah, mind you, I was actually watching this at like 3 a.m. So
Yeah, I was literally not paying attention anymore at this point. I did not care.
yeah,
I completely forgot the next game happened until I saw it on this little list I linked.
yep. The last game, well, second to last game, is Gotham Knights. I have no idea what this is supposed to be. It's not like Gotham Knight, that's for sure.
It's not like Arkham Knight, you mean?
Arkham Knight, I should say, yes. I don't know what they're actually doing. Apparently you've got a whole bunch of playable characters. They were showing off Nightcrawlers. They showed off more than one Nightcrawler, by the look of it. Or at least one Nightcrawler with different skins. I don't know. They weren't specific.
You mean Nightwing?
Oh, Nightwing. Yeah, I'm blaring out as well. Nightwing. Dick Grayson is apparently one of them. But they also had two other guns. I don't know. They didn't actually show any proper gameplay. They showed stylized action scenes. So, I don't know. And the final game is The Last of Us. We'll remake the first one. Please come back.
Yeah, don't care. You've sold that ship up the road, my dudes.
Yeah.
That one's gone.
I wasn't particularly enchanted by the first one, but the way they put together the second one was outright offensive.
Oh yeah, to everybody.
Like, that ship sailed. You tanked that franchise. Congratulations.
Yeah. Because you weren't willing to listen to your players.
This is like they let that guy. What's his face?
Druckmann.
What's his act? Yeah, what's his? Okay, Druckmann. Okay,
Cuckman.
I couldn't remember.
Because you were
the
going to call him Cuckman, weren't you?
Yes.
Yes. They let him do whatever he wanted, and then the bean counters got to looking at the money, and they were like, "Oh no."
Oh no. You had all these really nicely established characters that people were invested in, and then at the start of the game, you crapped all over them and put in someone who nobody cares about. And you wonder why people didn't like it.
Well, anybody who might have been willing to put up with it would have no longer been willing to put up with it after they had to watch a sex scene.
Yeah. Video game sex scenes are always just awful.
Yes, that's true, and this one was exceptional in that regard.
Yes.
Like it was as opposed to just looking like mannequins bumping into each other. This one was actively nauseating.
Yes, it was. And not to mention watching one of everyone's favourite characters get his head caved in with a golf club for no reason.
Yeah, that's not going to upset anybody, is it?
No.
And or to tell some sort of juvenile revenge story.
Yeah, which had no foreshadowing about a character that was completely new, that nobody cared about. So I can't blame them. They're going back or trying to go back to the well that made them successful in the first place. Whereas I think the player base just wants to move on. I've got my 50, by the way.
Same.
I'm nowhere near.
I've just been pushing the button.
I'll just search and see how much I've got in the
Yeah, just see how many you got.
search for item. I have 1 in the bank, so I've got a total of 43.
Okay.
7 more.
And that is the Jeff Keighley show. There was still another hour of stuff after this, but that was all.
It's all indie stuff.
An hour?
There's an hour of indie showcasing, and none of it is worth talking about. Not a bit of it.
Yeah, because apparently they had the a bunch of indies get up and talk about their various games. They had the Devolver, whatever the hell Devolver does every year. It's not marketing. I don't know what the hell you call that. It's usually like the annual shitpost, I guess you could call it. But, yeah, it's just nothing really of note to talk about there. I believe there's also the Games Radar one, which I did a very quick flick through, and it was just more of the same. I think the only one that's going to be of note for going forward is going to be the Bethesda one, which I think happens sometime today. They might actually say that reveal what kind of game Starfield is.
I wouldn't bet on it.
I wouldn't bet on it too much. You know, aside from buggy, broken mess.
Bethesda game, in other words.
Bethesda game, exactly.
Creation Engine 2.0.
Well, actually, we're already up to 2.0. I think we're up to about 4 now. Please just
Now with
put the Creation
additional
Engine out of
Band-Aids?
its misery. Yeah. Now with added duct tape. Yeah, put that poor engine out of its misery. It's suffered enough. What else? There's Nintendo may or may not be doing one this. We've already mentioned that. But yeah, the usual things happen is there's always the leaks that have popped up around it, the alleged leaks, which is usually some 4chan green text.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall it's just I can see why E3 couldn't be bothered this year.
Yeah, they're gonna blame the coof, but it's because there was nothing to show.
Yeah, you can't really blame the coof anymore. At this point, there wasn't anything worth showing. A lot of it was stuff that had already been announced, and they didn't really add to it. They just said, yeah, it's still coming, or occasionally they may have released a demo or at least a release date. But just... Anyway, what other little bits of news are there this week?
You wanted to talk about Diablo Immortal somehow.
Well, we kind of already did. But, yeah, aside from them reaching an all-time low on Metacritic, as more people have weighed in and more people have started picking the game apart, it keeps getting worse. Things like, there's a subscription system in this game now, which, if you get it, you get daily goodies. However, if you don't log in, you don't get the daily goodies. So your money just goes poof.
Yeah, they don't send it to your letterbox or something. You just don't get anything if you don't log in.
It just goes.
And this is something you've given them money for. I'm not sure how legal that is.
Yeah. There's things like stealth caps on what you can actually earn as a free player. And at no point does the game actually tell you that these caps are there. So you can only earn like 5 legendaries per day, and you can only take out or get rewards from endgame boss kills so many times per day without spending money and things like that. It's just, if there's a scummy monetization system that's been developed, it's in this game. Every single one of them.
Yeah, it's like they had the manual on scummy monetization open next to them when they did the design document.
Yeah. Like, a lot of games will go through it and they'll pick a few. 1 or 2 really of the really bad ones. But no, Blizzard just went, you know what, all of them.
They looked at that handbook and said, yes.
Yes. And what I think is really getting people upset, like, if the game was crap, people could just write it off and it would be over. They'd just move on. But it is actually, underneath all the monetization and bollocks, a really good game.
Well, it's a playable game anyway. the overshadowing of the monetization has really made it hard to parse how good the game actually is.
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody come right out and say, for example, "Oh, this is better than Path of Exile."
I haven't seen anyone say that, but I've heard a lot of people say it's just really good.
But relative to what? Good relative to what? Good relative to all of the other less offensive alternatives that you have access to? I doubt it.
Diablo 3 is probably, I'd say, the bar they're using.
I don't think that's true. Unless they explicitly say that, I don't think that's true. There's no reason to believe that. You're just choosing to believe that, as to be devil's advocate.
I think when people say it's good, they're talking strictly in context of action mobile games, which it may be. But that's not a particularly competitive. Yeah, that's not a particularly competitive market.
Yeah, that doesn't even make it a decent ARPG. And remember, this is not just a mobile game; it's trying to compete on the PC game platform as well.
Yeah,
like there is literally no reason to cut this game slack along any axis because, as far as I can tell, it's a minimum possible effort ARPG with a mountain of monetization piled on top.
Well,
there's no reason. There's no reason to say that there's any redeeming part of it, because as far as I can tell, there's nothing.
It's not a redeeming part, though. It's a damning part. Because they've taken a good game and they've ruined it.
No, there's no reason to believe it's a good game. Why should you believe it's a good game? They haven't demonstrated that it's good. Nobody is arguing it in terms of its merits as a game.
No, because the monetization overshadows the whole damn thing.
Yeah, so why do you believe it's a good game?
I'm just going on what people have said here. People are saying it's fun. It's enjoyable, and I'm just going with it.
That doesn't make it good. Slot machines are enjoyable.
No, they're not.
People say they are.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
My grandma bought a slot machine. I
Why?
played that slot machine. Because she played the stupid PC slot machine that came in like a free pack of some demo CDs nonstop. And for her birthday one year, my granddaddy got her a slot machine.
That's when you know you've got a problem.
It didn't pay out real money. It was our slot machine.
Well, yeah.
It took pennies.
That's displacement is what that is.
I really don't think that there's any reason to credit Diablo with any virtues along any axis, because there's just no demonstration of that. Like, nobody is willing to say what about it is good.
Yeah.
How many people who say that it's good are able to tell you why? None. They are saying it's good for the same reason you are, that they feel that they should create an even more damning contrast. Whereas, as far as I can tell, based on the virtues people have actually expounded on, it's an incredibly bad ARPG with an even worse monetization system.
Either way,
yeah. Like, if you are to appraise ARPG on its merit, is not the balance of the gear loop part of that?
Yes, it absolutely is.
Except this gear loop simply doesn't function without money, so it's a bad ARPG with a bad monetization scheme on top of it.
Yeah, people can say it's great, and they can even mean genuinely that it's great relative to other mobile action RPGs on the market or ARPGs on the market. But it's that's just not a high bar to clear.
Yeah, well, when all that they're doing is talking about the funny feeling that they got in their belly during the first 40 levels worth of trying to goad you into spending money, that's not actually saying anything about the quality of the game. That's saying that you were taken in by the dopamine hit from the rest of the structure.
Yeah, because I have not heard anything good about anything past the initial bits.
Yeah, people aren't saying things like, "Oh, I like this particular feature of it. I feel it's really strong."
Yeah, nobody's actually saying that because they immediately will start paying on the monetization.
Because the entire game is about the monetization. There is no part of the game that is not. All of it is designed to bait you into monetization. The game is not designed to stand on its own.
Anyway, I'm actually surprised though. It has toppled Reforged as the worst game.
I think that's because unlike Reforged, which was a staggering example of absolute contempt for your customers, this is an active malevolence towards your customers.
It's contempt in a whole new, different way.
There's no form of incompetence. Any form of incompetence could produce Reign of Chaos remade, but not. It's not possible to produce Diablo Immortal through incompetence alone.
No,
You need a special kind of hatred.
it's just malice. Although there was
yeah.
a decent amount of malice behind Reforged as well.
Not really, because it wasn't made by Blizzard. It was outsourced to them, and they gave no direction to the people who were supposed to put it together.
No, but it was Blizzard's decision to completely remove the original Warcraft 3 from the market.
Well, that's the type of marketing contempt that you have to express when you realize that nobody is going to actually play this game, and you need to destroy something that currently exists in order to get people to participate.
Just to get people to actually play it. The joke's on them. Now no one's playing Warcraft 3 at all.
Oh, I'm sure that there are people who have managed to hack the disc into life.
Oh, yeah. I'll probably be able to dig around and find it in a couple of minutes, honestly, as a way to do that. I do have the discs around somewhere. But, yeah. Apparently they were supposed to be announcing something about Reforged this week, but I haven't seen it yet. Honestly,
Yeah, I heard that they were, but I can't see how they couldn't do anything redeeming. Unless they were planning the most massive mea culpa of all time.
Yeah. Like, are you just going to burn it down to start from the scratch? Are you just going to say, you know what, here's Warcraft 3? The original?
We're giving you Warcraft 3 back.
I wonder,
just have it back.
I wonder how that would play, though, because people do want it back, it's true. However, they would do it... You can imagine in your mind's eye, you can see them doing it as though they were doing you a favour.
Oh, yeah. They're absolutely going to sell it like that. Like, that's how they tried to sell Warcraft Classic. It was a very begrudging favour at that point.
Well, I think it's much, much worse than that.
Oh,
because
it absolutely is.
they didn't take Warcraft Classic away from people on purpose. They followed a development route that most people did not see how bad it would get until there was a lot of water under the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in the case of Warcraft 3, they actively removed something people had and loved because they wanted to make money.
Something that they had previously paid money for
Like,
as
they-
that version of the game.
They drew the dagger and slid it between the ribs of Warcraft 3 in plain view of everybody. This wasn't something that happened by degrees like the changing of an MMO over time.
Yeah. And part of it, I think, is also because they wanted to get that revised mod policy into place. You know, the one that says, if you make a mod, we own it.
Yeah, well, they've effectively killed the StarCraft project as well.
Yeah, they did the same thing.
Like they didn't remove the people's ability to play StarCraft 2, but they did effectively end support for it.
Yeah.
As far as anybody can tell, and from what people who are insiders have said, like StarCraft 2 was going gangbusters at the time that they executed it.
Yeah.
They killed it because it had no future monetization potential.
Yeah. Because they'd already sold all the expansions, so they didn't have anything else to sell. Anyway, we need to pack up.
Yep. All right. Closing comments. I've been kind of bleh this week because these pressers were just so boring to watch.
They're so depressing.
Yeah, you're generally going to come away with a negative feeling towards the industry as a whole.
I gotta drop out this one, guys.
All right.
All
Get
right.
your mount. Go get your mount.
I'll go get my mount. I won't be able to do it on camera because I don't have time. Actually, maybe I will. Yeah, scamper over that way. Which is not that way, it is that way. I want to go the
At the end.
Go get me mount. So yeah, I'm not wondering if actually we're going to even see E3 again next year, or are they just going to walk away?
This will depend on Keeley more or less,
Yeah.
because he's the only one who likes E3 enough to want to save it.
Which way was it? That wasn't where I wanted to go. I went entirely the wrong place. Yeah, like Keeley's just jumped into the grave immediately, and what he put together probably cost a hell of a lot less than E3, but it didn't really do anything new. It didn't add anything. It's just there.
It's just Keeley.
It's just Keeley. Where is he? Is it right down the bottom? There it is, Rathalos Whistle. Exchange. 50 scales. Boop. And now I has my Rathalos.
Yay!
Best mount. Alright, let's get out of here then.
Alright, folks. I think we're done.
We done.
We'll see you next week. Sayonara. Bye-bye.